Now we will do for the second way, which is key in the transaction by using tax code IMGTS and other payment method, which is payment made by forwarder on behalf of us. We'll use the same example. First, we have to create a new payment method, which is payment made by forwarder on behalf of us at account maintenance. So kindly go to GL, account maintenance. So kindly click on bank cash deposit and select other payments and select current liabilities and key in the account number and also the description, which is payment made by forwarder on behalf of us, and click save. Now, same as the first way, we have to enter the purchase invoice, which is billed by supplier overseas. Kindly go to purchase, purchase invoice, create a new purchase invoice. So the creditor is supplier overseas, which is in US dollar. Kindly enter the supplier invoice number and the date is on 10th of August. As per example, the item is item 1, the quantity is 2, and the unit price is 500 US dollar. In the second way, kindly select tax code IMGTS, which is no GST rate and no GST charges. This is because our overseas suppliers won't charge us on GST. For the explanation of IMGTS, you may refer to the first scenario video. So the currency rate is 3.5. Once you're done, you may click save. In this second way, we have to create a payment voucher by using payment made by forwarder on behalf of us in order to do the posting to input tax account. Kindly go to GL, cash book entry, create a new cash transaction, new payment voucher. The pay to kindly key in payment made by forwarder on behalf of us. The description, you may key in the supplier invoice number. The date, as per example, we assume is on 10th of August. The payment method, kindly select the other payment method that we created just now, which is payment made by forwarder on behalf of us. Kindly click on imported goods document and click search. Once you click search, the system will sort out the purchase invoice that we key in just now, which is use the tax code IMGTS. Kindly check the purchase invoice. Once you check the purchase invoice, the system will auto-detect the purchase amount, which is 3,500. So we refer to our example. The custom duty is 200. You may direct key in the custom duty charges 200. If the custom duty is on percentage, you may key in a percentage here. Kindly select the custom duty account. The tax code, kindly select tax code IM. Once you're done, you may click OK. This is the custom duty. The amount is 200 with 6% GST and the GST tax code is IM. The system will auto-highlight the purchase invoice in full. As per our example, in the K1 form, custom access, the amount is 3,600. So you can change your custom access amount, change to 3,600. The GST amount will update based on your custom access amount. If custom access your currency rate, then you can change your currency rate. So the GST tax code is IM with 6% GST. You may key in your K1 form number and import declaration number here. So once you're done, you may click Save. After that, we have to create the AP invoice which is billed by forwarder company. Kindly go to AP invoice entry, create a new AP invoice. So the creditor is forwarder company. For the supplier invoice number, kindly refer to our example, which is FW0002. As per example, the date is on 10th of August. For the GST paid on behalf and custom duty charges, in the second way, we'll select the payment made by forwarder on behalf of us account in order to enter both of the charges. Kindly select the account. And follow the total amount of the payment voucher that we key in just now, which is 428. So this amount already included the GST paid on behalf and also the custom duty. Kindly select tax code OP. The following charges is freight charges. Kindly select freight charges account and key in the amount 100. For the freight charges, kindly select tax code TXS, which is 6% GST. The last one is the FCL container charges 206. For FCL container charges 206, same as the first way, kindly select third party paid on behalf account and key in the amount 206. Since this is forwarder company paid on behalf of us, they cannot charge 6% GST. So kindly select tax code OP. For the description, kindly key in the supplier invoice number and your K1 form number. So you may double check for the total amount. The total amount is 740 as per our example, which is 740. So once you're done, you may click Save. Now, same as the first way, we have to enter the AP invoice which is billed by third party company. Kindly go to AP invoice entry, create a new AP invoice. So the creditor is third party company. For the supplier invoice number, we'll refer to our example, which is TP0001. As per example, the date is on 10th of August. The first charges is the terminal charges, which is zero rated. Kindly select terminal charges account and enter the amount 100. For the GST tax code, kindly select ZP, which is zero rated. The second is the agency fee. Kindly select agency fee account and the amount is 100. For the agency fee, kindly select tax code TXS, which is 6% GST. For the description, kindly key in the supplier invoice number and your K1 form number. So you can double check the total amount, which is 206, as per example, which is 206. So once you're done, you may click Save. So now we will enter the AP payment for third party company in order to knock off the AP invoice that we key in just now. Kindly go to AP payment, create a new AP payment. So the creditor is third party company. We assume the date is on 10th of August. kindly select the party pay on behalf as the payment method and key in the amount 206. Then knock off with the third party invoice that we key in just now. So once you're done, you may click Save. After that, you may key in the AP payment for supplier overseas and forwarder company when you make the payment for them. Now I will show you the GST 03 of August taxable period. This is the GST 03. You may click on Hide options in order to get the larger view. So the taxable period is from 1st of August until 31st of August. The imported goods transaction that we entered just now are within this period. In order to view and check this transaction, kindly look for item number 6B, which is the input tax amount. So this is the input tax amount. You may click on the amount, then you will get the transaction drill down. This is the transaction drill down. Since the forwarder company invoice number in example of the scenario is FW0002, so you may refer to the document number which is FW0002. So for this transaction is GST of custom duty. Another one is GST of imported goods. So you also can double click the transaction, then you will get the document details. So the first transaction, GST of custom duty, we enter in this AP invoice of forwarder company. You also can double click the GST of imported goods. Then you will get the same AP invoice. Since the freight charges tax code is TX, so you have to look at the TX transaction. So this one is the GST of freight charges, which is 6 ringgit. You also can double click, then you will get the same AP invoice. Besides that, in this scenario, the third-party company will bill us the charges. So the agency fees billed by third-party company is standard rate. So you also have to look at the TX record. You also can double-click. Then you will get the AP invoice of third-party company that we enter in the first way. Now let's look for the transaction that we enter in the second way. This is the GST of imported goods, and this one is GST of custom duty. Both of these transactions we enter in the second way. You also can double click the transaction in order to get the details of the documents. The first transaction, GST of imported goods, we enter in this payment voucher. As mentioned before, in this second way, we'll create this payment voucher in order to do the posting of GST on imported goods and GST of custom duty to input tax account. You also can double click GST of custom duty transaction. Then you will get the same payment voucher. As we mentioned before, by creating this payment voucher, it will convert the tax code IMGTS into tax code IM. So you can check at here. The GST tax code will be IM. Same at here, the GST tax code is IM. Since tax code of freight charges is TX, so you may look at the TX transaction. This is the GST of freight charges, which is 6 ringgit. You also can double click, then you will get the AP invoice of forwarder company that we enter in the second way. Besides that, in this scenario, the third-party company will bill us the charges. Since the agency fee billed by the third-party company is standard rate, so you also have to look at the TX transaction. So this one is the agency fee transaction. You also can double click, then you will get the AP invoice of the third-party company. This is the explanation of imported goods transaction in GST 03. Before the end of this video, I would like to clarify that there are two limitations when you use the first way to enter a transaction of imported goods. In this video, we assume all the documents date are same. However, in the real world, some forwarder company will bill you before they receive the K1 form. For such scenario, you will face the problem regarding when you claim input tax earlier than K1 form date, which is an offense to the GST law. This is the AP invoice of forwarder company that we enter in the first way. So you can see that in the first way, we enter the GST on imported goods and GST of custom duty in AP invoice of forwarder company. So you will claim the input tax based on the AP invoice date. Now let's think about it. If your GST taxable period is 1 month and your forwarder company bill you on 31st of May, but you receive the K1 form on 2nd of June, which is in different taxable period. If you use the first way to enter, then you will claim the GST on imported goods and GST of custom duty on May. However, you should claim your input tax for this transaction on June taxable period instead of May. So we advise that not to use this way if you experience such scenario. How about the second way? In the second way, we'll use the tax code IMGTS to link with the payment voucher, so it won't have this problem. This is the payment voucher that we enter in the second way. So we enter the GST on imported goods and GST of custom duty in payment voucher instead of forwarder AP invoice. You may enter the payment voucher date as per the K1 form date. So your input tax claim will fall to the exact month as per your K1 form. This is the reason that we advise you to use the second way to enter a transaction if you experience such scenario. Besides that, the first way has another limitation, which is your GAF file will incomplete. Now let's see the GAF file. This is the GAF file of August taxable period. In the first way, which is key in the transaction without using tax code IMGTS and other payment method, which is payment made by forwarder on behalf of us, the supplier overseas purchase invoice will not appear in your GAF file. It just has the record of AP invoice, which is billed by forwarder company and third-party company. However, in the second way, which is key in the transaction by using tax code IMGTS and other payment method, the GAF file will have the record of supplier overseas purchase invoice and also the forwarder company AP invoice and third-party company as well. So in the second way, your GAF file will be more transparent and clear. In conclusion, we advise users use the second way, which is enter the transaction by using tax code IMGTS and other payment method, as the first way has its own limitations. Even then, the first way is easier and much more simple. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching.